The U.S. government paid me to view Hunter Biden's nudes.
I need drugs now.
There's so much candy. They had a bowl of candy that they refilled. It's good candy. You know, Twix. I'm talking about Twix, Yorks, you know.
Wow.
Snickers. And we went through...
Crack.
I gotta shut them up. Sickness, I'm done it, but it was COVID. Go ahead, go.
Where you been?
Are you recording me? Yo, what's up?
Welcome back to the podcast, everybody. Season 2, episode 2. We have a very good podcast for you today. We have a special guest who we'll get into. We are going to give you some untold stories from the Hunter Biden case. We are going to talk Eagles. We're going to talk our new segment, News or Ruse. We got another new segment from the Hallmark.
Yes.
We have a lot to do today, so it's going to be fun. Make sure you stick around, and then we are going to roll that intro.
Roll that intro.
We got to bring up right after the intro. All right, welcome back. So, if you made it this far, thank you. It's been further than usually people have been watching.
Yeah.
Podpasser, take us through it.
Well, good to have you back. We missed last week. Podpasser was sick and down for a good week. And our guest, we actually rescheduled before I realized I was sick, so that's a blessing. But he's back. This is Daniel Whitmer. We're going to talk more to him in a little bit. But we have a new setup. We hope you like it. New table layout, so we don't have to look past each other. Especially Dan, when the other Dan's here. This is the best Dan on the podcast, Dan Whitmer. But Dan Penichetti, who's not here because he's too busy for us, we had to look past that head and belly. The lights were reflecting. It was hard. So now we could just see each other's faces, and big marks on the edge look smaller for me, you know, over there. And we do have new mics. Chris, talking to that mic, and you tell us as viewers, what do you think?
So this is our new mic.
It changes his voice to a girl. That'd be hysterical. If you leaned in like, hi. Anyway, go ahead.
All right. So this is our new mic. We have more coming in. Hopefully it helps with, we talk loud, we're Italian. We have a lot of popping noises that we make. So hopefully these help with all of that. It's all thanks to you guys watching.
Yes.
We appreciate all the support. And so they should be all set up for next week.
We're excited. We got Ethan on the podcast with us. And we just bring him for his nice hair. Want to say hi?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey guys.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Fan favorite, by the way.
He's the fan favorite. So anyway, good to have you. So Chris, where we're going to go first? Because we want to be more in order this new season.
Yes.
And not over each other.
So we're going to start with our guest. We're going to let him introduce himself.
Perfect.
Backstory, anything you want to give us. The floor is yours. Take it away.
Yeah, my name is Redacted. You got the... yeah, you're hiding my person...
oh, yes,
face,
there's been a big box
Yes.
over his face this whole time.
You don't see this? I'll hide it for her.
I'm going to say some super sensitive things, and you know the U.S. government, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Supposedly, you know, declassifying some documents soon, so that should be
Yes,
interesting.
I'm excited.
If that goes poorly, then, you know, definitely we'll have to,
Hide
edit, you know, completely block it out.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, my name's Daniel Whitmer. I was born in Bristol, PA. Moved while pretty young to Delaware. Grew up there. Went to college down in South Carolina. Met my wife there.
She's here.
She's
That's
over there. Yeah, she's not on camera there. She's a little shy. But no, I went down to Bob Jones University. Got my business degree there. Met my wife at Chick-fil-A, like all good Christians do.
My pleasure.
You know, exactly. That's the place to go. You know, that's the place to go if you want to find a spouse. You know, just work at a Chick-fil-A.
So good.
And you know, I always tell my friends that. You know.
I also worked at Chick-fil-A.
Hey,
I didn't meet my wife there, but
You worked at Chick-fil-A?
Yeah.
I also worked at Chick-fil-A.
he worked there for 3 days.
You
I
did not.
eat a lot of Chick-fil-A.
That's good. That's good, brother.
Now, did you guys have the cheese sauce? Because that's the most important.
It's disgusting.
You used
I
to.
don't like Chick-fil-A.
I don't.
It was
Yeah.
so good. It was so good.
Have you ever tried? You got to get the got to get the tenders.
I'm not a fast food guy, but
Do it anyhow because I said so. So
God.
anyway, get the tenders, get the cheese sauce on the side, dip the tenders in the cheese sauce.
all right.
That's all I have to say.
Anyway.
Back to you.
Met at Chick-fil-A. She's a nurse now in Delaware. I mean, that pretty much. I work for BJ's in
Oh, wow.
the financial department. I do accounts payable, and yeah, it's pretty chill.
Wow. That's awesome to know.
Yeah.
And what a transition from Chick-fil-A, both of you, to accounting manager. No, let's say. And I'm kidding. No one knows who I'm talking to. He's all blurry still, right? Or is he not blurry?
Yeah, he's gone.
We've unblurred him
now. Yeah.
Okay, I can see you now.
Oh, okay.
And then his wife, a nurse. So.
Yep.
And we had his father on not too long ago, season 1. So he sounds like his dad, but he's way better looking. I'm kidding, brother.
I still have my hair.
Your dad's classy though. He's sharp, but yeah, you still got your hair. But anyway, we're glad to have you. And the reason we brought him on was because of the Hunter Biden case. He was a juror.
A what?
A juror. I can't say it right.
Is it like an Italian thing?
Juror?
No, it's just a him thing.
It's just
Wait, Hannah's helping us. Juror?
Yeah, it doesn't start with a
Juror.
a drawer.
He was a stock drawer
Yeah,
in the Hunter Biden case.
Well, he was one of the 12.
Is it disciple?
well, technically there were 16 of us.
Okay.
Well, now you're making him sound like a disciple.
4 of them were Bidens, however.
4 of them were alternates. And we did use an alternate.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think it was the second day. It was the first or second day. One of the young. I need to just explain the whole thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let me just.
How did it happen? How'd
okay,
you get selected? And then go from there.
I received a notice in the mail.
Dan, hold your mic up to where they're cheap. Yeah.
This is okay. I received a notice in the mail, and it was a jury summons, obviously. And I got really excited because I got my business degree, and it was for the federal court. And I noticed that immediately, and I was like, "Oh, sweet! It's gonna be some big corporate case. I'm gonna get to sit in, if I get chosen." And I was super, super excited about it. Boeing had an issue recently, and so I thought that's what it was gonna be. I was super excited. And lo and behold, I get an email like the week before something that was like, disregard the instructions. You're to show up immediately at this courthouse, and you're gonna go directly in. So you're not even going to go through like the normal process or whatever. You're gonna go directly into the courthouse at this time. And I remember sending it to my boss, and I was like, I think this is something serious.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, And at the time, I don't really follow the news like that, so I didn't even know Biden was, But I got there, cameras everywhere, filming all outside the courthouse, and I sent a picture to my family, and my mom was like, "Yep, that's Hunter Biden's thing." So we went in, we waited. The way they filed us was I think there were 100 of us about, and they pretty much did like a random number generator. And listed us. So I was number 30 something, like 34 or something like that. And so they just went through, gave us a questionnaire of literally like 104 questions.
Wow.
And it's like anything you said yes to, you had to answer before the judge of why you said yes.
Oh, that's terrible.
Super rigorous, yeah. I had like 7 or 8 maybe, I think. But like some people had like 40 that day, but like they were dismissed, obviously.
Right.
So I knew that I was going to be.
Sorry, quick question. When you're saying the yes is to the questions, I'm just assuming there are questions that they're like biased to. Like, are you biased to these things?
Yes.
Okay.
So like, do you have a family member who's used drugs? Do you own a gun? It wasn't do you own a gun. It was do you know about firearms? It was something like that.
Gotcha.
How in depth, And like I answered yes to that, and I was like, my father owns firearms or whatever. Yeah. And so, like other things like, are you in the law profession? And the interesting one was the 2 at the end were like, would you treat the son of the sitting president differently? Based off of are you able to differentiate that and just like treat him like he's just a normal guy? And that was a big one that eliminated a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then there was other things like, how much do you know about the case? How much do you know about this stuff? I don't watch the news. Right. I didn't know anything. I'd heard of like a laptop and stuff, but I didn't know stuff.
Now, do you think they preferred people that didn't know about it, so it's more unbiased?
So you're supposed to go in with having no biases and only taking into account what you hear in the court. And you're not even supposed to make a decision until the very end, until all the evidence has been submitted and like you've reviewed everything.
Now I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Go ahead.
So you're not supposed to make a decision until the very end. Did you find that hard to do?
Yes, it was. I had to constantly reevaluate. I had to constantly. That was something you just have to do because you're getting very solid evidence, and you have to say, well, something could pop up later that would completely change this, and it's true.
Yeah.
You know, you see it all the time in TV shows.
I was just about to say, because I see in movies all the time where they say that to jurors, like, you can't make a decision yet, and I'm like, that's why I can never do it, because I make a decision in 5 seconds.
It's very rigorous. Mentally, the whole process was. But we went through the questioning, and I realized I was going to be picked because I'd been talking to some people, and just the number of, it's really, really weird, but I know they try to get a very equal number of men versus women.
Right.
And they try to make it a pretty diverse jury pool. And I can't remember how many guys have been picked.
You were the token white guy?
But,
is that what you're going to say?
I was one of 2 white guys on the jury. But I was looking at the number of guys, and there were only like 2 guys in front of me left, and they had only picked like 2 guys.
Wow.
So, and I knew they were probably going to pick about an equal number of men and women.
So you knew you were getting on.
So I, at that point, and the guy that I was next to, we actually talked and we had a lot in common. And I was like, he's probably getting on too, because we had talked and discussed stuff about like what we said yes to, what we said no to, you know.
Quick question about that, because we've never done, I'm assuming a lot of people have never been on a case like this. Do they discourage the jurors talking to each other?
No, not really. Well, we were potential at that point, so.
Gotcha.
Once the case actually starts and evidence started to be, you're not allowed to discuss it.
Gotcha.
So, beforehand, there's obviously nothing wrong with, you know, talking about certain things, your life, and like what you do, all that stuff. And one woman who was also sitting next to us was like, yeah, I'm not getting picked because I know all this stuff. And I was like, don't tell me anything because I'm not going back and changing my answer for this, you know. But we both got picked. And so the jury was made up of, originally, I believe it was, I want to say originally 3 black women, 4 white women, 2 white guys, and 4 black guys.
Wow.
And so the age was very diverse. So the other white guy was older. I won't say super, super old, but he also, I don't know how old he was, but he was over the age of 50.
Watch it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be offensive to anyone. I don't know.
I didn't know my dad was a juror.
It's a dinosaur over there.
Yeah. I don't want to be rude to him. Great guy, but no. So very, very wide range, and I was surprised how many young people there were.
Right.
So I was 23 at the time, right? Yeah, last year.
You're getting old.
Yeah, not really, no. And the other guy was my age as well. He was 23, I believe, or 22. And then there was like an 18-year-old girl. But she, I can't remember because we didn't know why she dipped out.
All right.
But like I think I later, way after the case, looked it up or something. I think it might have been like transportation issues or something like that. I'm not quite sure.
Or one of his victims.
Yeah, it was very, very scary. It was very scary because
most likely.
She just like dipped, and we had no idea what was going on. You know,
She
so it was
disappeared.
like, what's going on?
Yeah, she didn't answer the questionnaire correctly.
So
She's gone.
she was replaced by a guy, and so yeah,
That's crazy.
It was,
So that's how it began.
That was one of the alternates was used. So at that point, there were only 3 alternates left.
Wow.
And we went into it, and it was crazy. It was crazy.
Well, before we get into it, and we're going to go over to Chris because we're going to do our new segment called News or Ruse.
Let's get right into this first. I mean, listen, before we go there, if you're not hooked on this already, I mean, it's already very interesting.
I want to know where this girl went.
Right?
I don't know. I don't think anyone's seen her since.
Are we in danger with you on this podcast?
I have a feeling that we're just scratching the surface on the story, so make sure you stay tuned. But yeah, we're going to go over to News or Ruse. I hope you guys enjoy. I'm Chris.
And I'm Chris.
And I'm Chris. And welcome
To snooze or
to News or Ruse.
News or Ruse.
All right.
I'm ready to snooze.
Yeah, hopefully you guys ain't snoozing.
I
This
hope
is
you're
a great-
enjoying the podcast.
It's going great.
Yeah, it's going good.
And it only gets better.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned. It gets very, very, very good.
Very good.
Very good. All right, so News or Ruse, welcome back.
Explain it.
So we didn't have audio last time, but you got a little sneak peek. We are going to give 2 news articles. One is real, one is fake. You have to guess which is news and which is a ruse.
I like it.
It's pretty simple. And then
Yeah.
we're going to have one of our co-hosts come on and guess, and we'll see who's right. Make sure you comment down below, by the way, if you guessed it right. Do you want to go first or shall I?
I'll let you go. Looks before wisdom.
We call this one the Candy Crush Killer.
Wow.
I came up with that myself.
I like it.
Doesn't say that in the news article, but
So we know which one's a ruse.
no, it doesn't. I couldn't find the headline for the
right.
news article. I only found the story. But anyway, the Candy Crush Killer. This roommate murdered her other roommate because she was sent too many requests on Candy Crush.
Wow. In this day and age, that's kind of believable.
Listen,
I don't know if it is. I mean, they're going to have to decide.
they'll have to decide.
Mark's going to come up in a minute and I think decide, right?
Listen, don't send your friends too many requests on Candy Crush because you might just get killed.
And I have news out of Indiana.
What is it?
Wow, give me a chance.
It's out of Indiana.
The YouTube baby.
The YouTube baby.
The YouTube baby.
Explain.
There's this lady who is pregnant with a baby.
Thank God it was a lady.
Thank God it was a lady. It's the only ones who can have babies, by the way. And so she's pregnant, and she doesn't know how to deliver this child on her own.
No.
So she watches a YouTube tutorial,
Wow.
and step by step delivers her own baby.
Pastor, get out of here. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
You're telling me that this pregnant lady,
She
watched a
delivered a
YouTube
baby.
tutorial
Yes.
and delivered a baby
And
on her
delivered
own.
a baby, watching step by step on
YouTube is amazing. You
It
guys
is.
get great podcasts and learn how to
So
deliver babies.
let's bring Mark up. He's heard these news headlines, and we're going to see what Mark thinks is news or ruse. Mark, which one?
Hi, Mark.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Good to see you, buddy.
What's going on? All right.
Look, by the way, Redskins.
Commanders.
It's not the. Just stop.
All right, go ahead, Mark. Which headline do you believe is news, and which one do you believe is ruse?
I'm trying to do like the poker thing here, but which eye do I look at? I forget. Oh God, they're both crossed. That's sick. Okay. So what was it again? It was
Candy Crush Killer,
Candy Crush Killer, or
YouTube baby.
YouTube delivery.
YouTube delivery. I mean, I do use
Baby
YouTube
Dash.
a lot. I mean that makes sense, kind of. YouTube, you could can pretty much YouTube anything. The Candy Crush seems a little awkward, but I don't know. I think I'm still gonna go. I'm gonna go with Candy Crush. I don't think that's right.
The Candy Crush Killer
can
you're
happen.
saying is the wrong one.
Is the wrong? I don't think.
So that's ruse to you.
Give me
That's
a
whose?
drum roll, please.
Oh, right.
You're absolutely right.
Oh my God.
The Candy Crush Killer is the ruse.
All right. What did I win?
Absolutely nothing. Go back to the
You win
seat.
the lady's baby.
Listen, if you guessed the Candy Crush Killer, let us know.
Let us know.
That was the ruse.
That's
We
the
will be
ruse.
back with this next week with
Snooze or ruse.
news or ruse.
News or ruse.
We'll go back to the podcast and stay tuned.
Why am I
for-
saying snooze today? I'm tired.
Stay tuned for our Hallmark moment. Back to the podcast. And welcome back from News
was
or Ruse.
fantastic.
We hope you guys liked it. What'd you think?
It was great.
Is that
Great,
crazy?
thank you, thank
How
you.
YouTube could be used is nuts, right? So anyway,
Okay. Don't explain anything. Just say it's
I don't want to
not.
get into it.
It's just crazy.
Basically, we didn't film our News or Ruse yet. So
Right.
we just said go and then welcome back.
Yeah,
What was that I just watched then?
just that 8-year-old reappearing and
He's
disappearing.
good. He's good. Yeah. He's media trained.
Anyway, so now you're picked. You're a jury. You're a
who?
Forget it.
Man,
You're on the 12, 16.
You're in the drawer.
Minus the 18.
that's the thing. So by the second day, it's only
can't
15,
say it.
and
Juror.
Let him go.
Juror.
they didn't tell us who the
We don't
alternates
have the whole
were.
podcast
Oh,
to have you get
so
it
you
right.
don't know alternates at all.
Yeah, but like, so there were 15 of us, and so I went in assuming, okay, so it's just gonna be like, because we were numbered from 1
Right.
to 12. I was like, it's just gonna be the 12, and then they had to sit through obviously the entire thing just in case someone drops out like
You're
last
right.
minute,
They have
because
to
they
know.
did not want to
redo this again.
Yeah, redo this again. So they're pretty smart in that.
Well, which we know he got pardoned, so we could have done it over and over again.
I'll get to that later. I'll get to that later. But yeah, a lot of the case was directly taken from Hunter Biden's book.
Wow, are you serious?
Yeah, we listened to excerpts of the audiobook.
Oh, man.
And I mean, I don't even have to purchase it because I essentially listened to all the
So
parts.
he writes a book and incriminates himself in this book?
Yeah, so I believe he had been
Not surprised. Not
given
surprised.
immunity for testifying for some corruption case or whatever. We didn't go too into the weeds because he was given immunity for his specifically drug charges.
Wow.
And I mean, if you're going to testify for something bigger, it makes sense.
Right.
But in doing so, I believe he incriminated himself in his book because he lied on federal gun forms.
Right.
When he purchased a firearm.
Okay, and how did he lie? Do you know?
Oh, yeah. So there's a list of boxes that you have to fill out when you purchase a firearm. When you legally purchase a firearm, right?
Yes.
When you legally, and you get a background check done, and it essentially questions if you are a user of substances. And he put no, because if you put yes, that
Right,
you
you're
can't.
not getting the gun.
Yeah.
Comment down below if you use substances, by the way. I'm just interested.
I need to.
Yeah, comment down below if you've lied on a gun.
The cops don't watch our podcast. You're fine.
I need some this week. Anyway, so that's what they really go after.
Yeah.
Now we're going to jump into it because the laptop comes into evidence.
So, yes. And it made sense. So I had heard before, one of the only things I had heard about the laptop was people wanting, oh, where's the laptop? Where's it been? It's been 2 years, all this stuff like that. They had to get all of the information off of it. And from what I remember, I can't even remember how many pages. I think 50,000 pages of data.
Wow.
Is how much they got from the laptop. Something crazy, obscene like that. It's like insane. And they had to get Apple wouldn't
Unlock.
cooperate with them.
Yeah,
I think they sent it to Apple and it took them 9 months or something like that. It took a long time for them to get, either Apple wasn't cooperating or Apple had to go through procedure. I can't imagine it would have taken that long. And then once they got all the information back, they had to go through all of it to build a case. So it's very, it makes sense why the FBI took so long to get
Right.
all that.
Just to hear that.
Yeah,
9 months they had to wait.
They should not be at all criticized, because I saw a lot of criticism for them. No, they should not be criticized at all. It takes a long time to build a case, to get all that information, to go through it all. In fact, they were literally submitting new evidence as the trial went on that they had just discovered and had just been made they were allowed to use essentially from certain things that were said in the trial.
Quick question. So, how many days was the trial? How long did you have to go there for?
So, if I'm remembering correctly, it was Monday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then I can't remember if we got out on Tuesday, the following Tuesday, or the following Monday.
So just over a week.
It was a little over a week. But which is unfortunate because my family actually went on vacation that week. So I missed part of vacation.
Hunter Biden messing up another kid's life.
Yeah, and okay. Oh my word! I don't know anything about that. We didn't go over that in the case.
Now by day 4.
Oh, there are some crazy things we did go over though.
We want to know.
We want to get into that. Now by day 4, just picking a random day on you.
Day 4.
Do you think there's no way that this guy's not found guilty?
So we hadn't gone over the actual form yet.
Oh, wow.
So I will say I could not have made a decision because we hadn't actually gone over whether or not he'd filled out this form.
And that's the main
thing. You have to have that. That's foundational. But they wanted to prove beyond reasonable doubt that he was definitely using drugs during that time period. And the question is, well, what time period do you consider? Because it's a hazy area. If you use, so you smoke crack. Okay.
Right.
If you smoke crack for 15 years, let's say, and then you're sober for an entire year.
It caught him off guard.
Look, I learned a lot of stuff about smoking crack.
You could be a professional.
Boy, you get the glass pipes. I know where to purchase them.
Wow. All right, Dan.
Mix it with baking soda and water, to form it.
That's hysterical.
We had to go through that.
Right.
And so, but what I was saying, if you used it for 15 years and you were sober for a year and you went to fill out that form, would you say that you were a user or addicted?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there has to be some sort of, but they very clearly made it obvious, and we as a jury believe that he had been using during that time period.
Yeah.
And at that point, you lied on the form.
Yeah.
And there's a whole tangent on where the gun went. The woman he was with at the time threw it away. It was found by a guy who went through the trash. The police got it. They kept it. Hunter Biden refused to take it back. He said, "No, you can keep it."
Wow.
That was one of the craziest things. Was it was really a changing character, because throughout his book and throughout the evidence, it's very clear that he would let himself be ripped off by these drug dealers. He wouldn't carry a weapon in. He would just carry a ton of cash, and he would often just get robbed.
Wow.
And he wouldn't get anything, or he'd get substandard.
And that's a question. Where did he get this cash from? The book sale? Or
no.
Daddy?
I don't think it was flying off
pony
the shelves
face
like that.
lion!
I believe that his testimony in the case that got him immune to the drug charges,
Okay.
the corruption, I believe, is partly where he got his money. He was also a lawyer.
Oh.
A lot of people don't know that.
Wow, I
Which
did
makes
not.
it much worse when you lie on a federal form,
Of course.
because one of the charges brought up against him, it was that he knowingly and willingly lied and was deceitful.
Right.
And you might say the average person might stretch the truth a bit, but when you were a lawyer,
Strict rules.
it's it's almost a higher standard.
Oh, yeah.
It really
Correct,
almost is.
So the whole case is really the gun, lying on the gun form. The
Yes.
federal government can
And
step in.
knowingly lying.
But really, what are they really targeting him for? Corruption, of course.
Well, corruption was the previous case, so there's several cases.
Yeah, there's several of them.
Several, and you have to do it like that. So they group together based off of the gun charges. He's obviously he couldn't be charged
Right.
for anything that was related to drugs, but the lying is a separate thing.
Correct,
So
yeah.
he should have, when he made the deal, included that.
And he did.
If he would have been smart, he would have. But no, he didn't at all. And we got to go in very in depth on his life, and it's crazy how I think it was crazy how almost capable he was while using.
Wow.
Like, he was doing stuff. He's
He's a functioning addict.
functioning. Yes. Yes.
And I think that's a lot of Capitol Hill and their kids. Like, they know how, they're drunk and high all the time. I just believe some of the bills they pass, they must be.
Yeah. He's also I believe abused alcohol as well. So actually, he frequented a liquor store my wife frequented. So that was interesting. And
So your wife's an alcoholic
I'm
too?
saying that as a joke. I'm saying that as a joke. That's I gotta clarify.
She went to Heil Anderson.
That is a bit of clickbait. That's a little bit, because she makes vanilla, and so
I love him. He's giving us
purchases
clickbait.
vodka.
we're gonna use that.
We
for
have
the
to do
intro.
it.
Yeah, puts the vanilla.
Hannah
I have
Whitmer.
to clarify that. Yeah.
Frequents the same
Frequences-
alcohol.
So I just thought I had to poke a little fun at her.
That's awesome.
You got it.
Yeah.
But yeah, she.
Sorry.
Oh.
There we go. We're back. Sorry about that. If the audio cut out. Yeah, keep going.
Right at the alcohol,
Yeah.
most
Yeah,
important
she
part.
frequents the same establishment, so that really tells you her character. But no, she just makes vanilla.
Is
so.
the same crack dealer standing
It's the same-
outside on the
it's the same-
corner
the same
of that,
corner.
It's Joe
that liquor
Biden.
store?
I think he said he could find in any city within 15 minutes is what he claims, or something
Wow.
like that. Like, he could go into any city, any town, and
I'm sure, yeah.
Find it.
Especially being a man of coming from money and money talks.
yeah,
You know?
it's,
The last name.
2 questions. All right. So you're working on the case.
yep.
What's the craziest thing, if there was any, that happened in the courtroom during the trial? And what's the craziest thing you saw in the evidence
Someone just
that
got
you're allowed
paid.
to say?
The prosecution.
Wait, sorry, I'm going to ask one more time because you cut me off, and I want to make sure that they
I
heard
think
it.
Mark just got paid to hush us up. Did you hear that? It was like ching ching.
No, that was my crack dealer. Sorry.
Oh, I have to leave. I got.
All right, so I'm going to say it one more time, just in case they didn't hear. Okay, so what's the craziest thing, if any, that happened in the courtroom during the trial? And what's the craziest thing you found in the evidence that you're allowed to say?
Okay, so I'll do the evidence ones first. So
Yeah, that's exciting.
The U.S. government paid me to view Hunter Biden's nudes.
I need drugs now.
You were probably asking for
they-
substance after that.
They were censored. They were censored. But because he took these photos with drug paraphernalia in them, they were submitted into evidence. Some very tasteful, very artistic. I just want to say.
Really?
Yeah, it's very.
Was
he's
it
an
a
artist.
huge problem to look at?
Great. Yeah. I mean, they blocked certain parts.
Thank God. Thank God,
Yeah,
Dan.
you
You would
would've
have needed
I'm
counseling.
not gonna lie. When he was in court, he looked very, very
shape.
charming.
Yeah.
Very,
Wait, you seen him?
Oh,
No. He's on trial.
But I don't know either guy.
Yeah, he's in the courtroom.
Well, actually, that's
That's
important. Let's make that known, just in case if you were wondering.
That's pain.
Yes, so you got to see Hunter Biden,
gas,
Yes.
and you said he's charming.
oh, yeah, very, very charming looking, and it's very obvious when you look at the ages of the women that he was with, which.
Well,
is
Hannah.
that is the classic transition, actually, to the next part, which was the prosecution. One of the crazy things that they said was they had his daughter on the stand, Hunter Biden's daughter.
No way.
And they asked him if she was aware that the woman he was with at that time was the same age
Wow.
as her, which was crazy.
And what was her response?
Oh, it was struck down because it was obviously inappropriate to ask. You
Correct,
can't,
yeah.
It's just inflammatory. Woke everyone up.
Objection.
It's actually crazy because I had to be told by one of the women on the jury. She was like, "You gotta hide your facial expressions."
'Cause you were like-
Because I was like, because some of the things, like whenever the defense attorney would get up, he gave off the sleazy vibes, like
Right.
very like,
Of course, yeah, I mean-
like question everything and whatsoever, and it's just very obvious things that are like, he's literally saying these things and then he's questioning, oh, can you really trust that or whatever, and I could not hold back. At one point, I almost started busting out laughing.
Really? Like,
and
that's how-
thankfully, there's a woman on the jury who was like, afterwards, she was like, you gotta be careful
Yeah.
because you are like very,
that line.
You're very, very on the line,
That's
your facial
hysterical.
expressions. I was like, okay.
Especially that question. Does your daughter know that?
Oh, it was
these
insane.
girls. And are these girls in the pictures on the laptop?
So,
The victims.
They can't.
So the
Yeah, they can.
women he was with, so I would call them victims because he did get them into crack,
Right.
Specifically, and we didn't delve into any sexual
Of course.
issues or anything like that because that wasn't related. It wasn't really related to the case, so you kind of keep stuff like that out. It was very interesting to see the laptop, though. I'll say that.
Wow.
We saw several photos.
Is it a Dell, HP? What do we
It was
got?
a Mac. It was a
Was it Mac?
Was it crusty?
Mac.
Because Apple wouldn't allow.
Was it crusty looking?
I'm not sure. They actually had taken it apart because they took out the hard drive and everything like that. Well, he broke it somehow because the way they got the laptop is that he left it in the repair shop and he
went back.
left the gun with the police.
So he's leaving evidence
He's leaving all the
everywhere.
evidence there.
Just like his father. Just like,
You know,
here's the evidence.
It's
I'm
crazy.
corrupt.
And, I mean, there was other evidence like his bank statements and stuff like that. The way that he'd purchase drugs, some of the ways, is that he would send them to the ATM and then he would click through the Chase app and essentially just let them withdraw.
Yeah.
And I think if I remember correctly, in 3 months he spent $150,000
On drug use?
on, I believe so.
Wow, that's crazy. We know what. I mean, Ukraine. Like, come on.
There was some insane.
Where's he getting this kind of money?
Yeah, I mean, he was a lawyer.
Yeah,
That's I wouldn't.
Now, his wife is
lawyer.
in this courtroom at the same time.
So yes, and his mother as well was there.
man.
It was very sad, actually. It was very moving. So, I'm there were 2 Republicans on the jury. I was
Okay.
one of them, which should give you a lot of faith in,
Right.
in humanity if you're a Republican.
No, it does, because I'm thinking most of them. There's no way if it's a Democratic, liberal, I should say, not even
Yeah,
Democratic.
this is Delaware.
This is Delaware, liberal
Wilmington,
Delaware. Wow,
So,
liberal.
Yeah. So, but no, the jury was made up of great individuals. I literally, really, really good people.
Wow.
I actually became friends with one. Do you know what Discord is?
Yeah. Yep.
So I actually am friends with one of them on Discord.
Oh, wow.
And it was very, very sad. We messaged each other back and forth. And when he was pardoned by his father, we did message each other. And
How did that make you feel when you went through all the case and then he got pardoned?
so something that's very important to note is that if you had sat through the case, every single one of us as jury members, there's a lot of anger towards Hunter Biden.
Okay.
You know? But when you see all the facts and you see his usage and you see how he's a slave to his addiction and how pitiful and everything, you can't help but pity him. It is so sad to see a human, just a person, fall to those depths.
Wow.
And it was like heartbreaking to see the depravity of Hunter Biden and how far and how low he was. And so I know a lot of Republicans are, they're super angry at him. But it would be wrong for me not to tell you he deserves pity. I mean, his actions landed him where he is, and
Right.
he's done horrible things. But he is a slave to his addiction.
Wow.
And it's so sad. It was so heartbreaking to see his family there.
I'm sure.
And
Yeah.
at one point, his daughter was on the stand, and she was just crying. It was very, very sad because they had been supposed to meet up and everything. And when you look at the timestamps mixed with everything else, he was doing drugs.
Wow. Man. Sad. Now, we're going to get to the conviction part real quick. But before we do, we want to go to the hall for a new segment called Hallmark.
Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy our Hallmark moment. We'll see you in a minute.
Hey guys, I'm Mark, and this is a hallway. So obviously this is a Hallmark moment. Now, church etiquette. I get excited sometimes about sharing the message and sharing Jesus and the Lord. But there's certain times and certain places that are appropriate and maybe not so appropriate, but we're going to try. Hey brother, Jesus can wipe away your sins.
Excuse me?
Back to you guys.
It's been a minute. Welcome back.
That was
All right.
a fast minute. That was very fast.
I don't know how Mark got that hallway and back that quick, but he did. Let's check his laptop.
I could still run.
All right, so now we got the evidence. You see a lot of crazy things. Thank God they blur it out. Probably with Joe Biden's face.
No.
Oh, okay.
The black
Hey, you better
bars.
not go against my son, you
censored.
pony face.
Yeah, no.
What do you mean? I'll take you out back. But anyway, so now comes time for conviction. We know it's guilty because he was pardoned, and we know how you feel about the pardon. But at that time, are you watching his face when the juror reads? No, I didn't say it right, but
Yeah. So, well, first we should go over the decision because you have
Right.
to think. At this point, all the jurors were very close with each other because we've been cooped up in this, and you're isolated. You're
Right.
not allowed to watch the news. You're not allowed to talk to people about the case. You're not allowed to talk to each other about the case. You can talk to each other about other things though. And so the only people you can really rely on, are the other. You grow really close to them through this experience.
Right.
And they are the only other ones who can really see the depravity and understand when you're, viewing all the evidence and all the, everything about the case. And so the decision, the first day, it was at the end of the day, and we wanted to just do a quick little,
yeah, see where
what do you
everyone's
think?
at.
Where do you think, and we'll do just write it on slips, anonymous, and we will just, just to see gauge. And it was completely split down the middle.
Wow.
It was split right down the middle. But the whole point of deliberations,
What side were you on?
I didn't change my mind at any point. I'll
Okay.
tell you that.
Wink, wink.
It was too obvious to change your mind,
Not
right?
guilty. No,
Well, no. So a lot of things we came back, and actually we had discussions that right at the end of the day. And this is that. So 3 people discussed and explained why they were for the not guilty verdict. And then I got up and I discussed why I thought he was guilty, and I kind of went through.
In front of him?
Yeah. This is in the jury, and we talked about it, and I was the only one. No one else stood up and explained why they thought. I was like, okay. And so we came back the next day.
you covered it.
We came back the next day. We redid the thing, and it was now, I believe, 10-2 for guilty. And so we talked, and like what reservations people had and why, and we deliberated for, hours. And which you should.
Right.
You have to go over certain elements of the case and why you don't think. And we went charge by charge.
Right.
And so some of them are harder to prove than others. Like
Right.
deliberate lying was the last one. It's the hardest to prove that.
Yeah, because you don't know.
Yeah.
what
So
that
if he looked at the form and just went right down the line,
Right.
that's hard to prove that he deliberately was meaning to be deceitful. If you just
Right.
filled out, think about it. When you fill out forms, and everything, you just go down the line.
Yeah.
The problem is, he was a lawyer.
That's the thing. Right.
And it was very clearly explained to him.
He knows better.
And the funniest thing of all, we commented about this, was that you see that, man, he is getting.
Someone's paying him to hush us up.
Turn that off.
Man,
Wow.
I
This guy's
thought-
making money.
I
over
wish I
here.
was getting that money.
When he opened up his phone last time, he was saying you need to send more.
That's crazy. That's
Could
what
do
happened
for
to the
a
other
price.
juror. I'm just-
Oh my gosh, the 18-year-old.
Oh, did that ever happen, by the way, or no?
What?
Side stuff to some jurors, like, hey, shut up, here's some money, or I'll take care of you.
He wouldn't know about it.
The government did pay us for,
Yeah, just
and
not
they provide
enough.
Great lunch. Oh, we went through so much candy. They had a bowl of candy that they refilled. It's good candy,
you just-
Twix. I'm talking about Twix, Yorks,
Wow.
Snickers, and we went through
Crack.
So,
I gotta shut them up.
it was like one of the only enjoyable things because I was at one of my lowest points during this because you see the total depravity of man.
And I know, Dan, I'm just going to jump off this. Were you ever hoping in your mind maybe Joe Biden would show up in the courtroom?
No, I mean it would have been inappropriate. It
Yeah.
just would have been.
So he did a good job staying out of there.
Yeah. Well.
But then,
Yeah.
what he did later.
He did promise, I did enjoy that he did sign into law like the total. Although I guess I'm no longer anonymous, but
Right. He's not, well,
He
yeah.
made it so that newscasters they can hound us.
Oh,
They
wow.
couldn't
And do they
publish
hound you to this
anything.
day?
Well, you hounded me.
Yes, I
did. I'm just kidding.
As soon as your dad told me, I'm like,
I'm just kidding. I'm just
get
kidding.
here.
No, but no, it was a super low point. It was super, and that candy really did help.
Wow, yeah,
I'm
it left you- I'm
I
sure.
ate so much candy.
Well, to hear that all the darkness is so depressing, I'm sure. And then to see family affected. So it comes time for deliberation.
It comes time.
You're at
there's
10-2.
left. And I just noted is very funny because if you look at it's a whole, you mark this box, you mark this box, you mark this box, and all the boxes are straight line. Okay.
Right.
It gets down to the question, and it's like off to the side.
Wow, so he did
And
read.
one of the women was like, it looks like he went down the line, checking, got to that question, skipped it, kept going, and then went back and lied.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
it was one of the weirdest thing. But so there were a lot of reservations for why he should be not guilty, but they had to do with how the defense had made their case, and they were not legitimate.
Right.
And
Of course not.
They just were not legitimate
Yeah.
concerns once you actually looked at like the law and looked at the reading of it and the reasonable doubt. It was just very it's just they were not legitimate concerns for why he should not be considered guilty.
So then you go. So it's 12 guilty.
Yeah. So you get to the final day,
So
decision time. Walk us through what the courtroom's like. What's the environment like?
it was very, very sad. When we made that decision, one of the reservations was actually that they didn't believe that he deserved to be in jail. And we actually, I think if you would have asked any of us, none of us thought he should have been put in jail for that, because we saw how bad his addiction was, that we thought he needed to be put in
Rehab.
like secure rehab,
Yeah.
or like house arrest, rehab, whatever. At no point did I ever feel like any of his actions were a danger to anyone. He didn't
Right.
carry a weapon.
Just himself.
He's going to drug.
Yeah.
Incredibly foolhardy, with
Yeah.
how he was going in, which was the funniest thing, because he bought a gun. You would assume for self-defense.
Right.
And then he doesn't show up to these deals with the gun because he said it's much safer that way, because
Smart.
you can just get your money stolen better than your life.
Right.
And if you have that much money where you can just shell it out,
Yeah.
I wish I had that kind of. I would spend
Right.
it on Legos. I'd build a huge warehouse.
There you go.
Crazy how much money. Like, I need to get in the corruption. Maybe this will launch my political career. I'm trustworthy.
Run for
Trust
president.
me.
So you guys actually did you guys have a spokesperson that stood up and said
It
guilty?
was juror number 1. Yes.
Right. So they say that guilty. What's his reaction?
It was very. I mean, he was a lawyer. Not a politician,
Right.
but almost.
Polished.
He knows how to
Very
politic.
polished. But you could tell that it was very hard. It was very hard on his mother,
I'm sure.
and it was just a very sad. Another thing, actually, that makes me think. Another thing was, in the deliberations, we had to be very sure that we were not considering the sentencing at all. That's
Right.
not our job
Right.
at all. That's the judge's
after.
job.
Yeah.
And our
Exactly.
judge was a fantastic woman. She was extremely professional. She kept the courtroom in check. She was everything you'd want a judge to be.
Right. Which is good to know.
Yeah, it was very, very. She was very kind to us as jurors. She ran a very, very.
Because that's a
utmost
25-year
respect.
sentence.
I'm not sure what the.
Yeah, lying on your
is
gun
it?
form.
I have no idea.
Well, it's a
what-
0 sentence now. He got pardoned.
Yeah, he was pardoned.
Yeah.
It all
But
worked out.
I mean, if,
I think
okay,
is it up to 25?
Up to
Yeah.
25,
So
yeah.
and
the max is 25.
I've heard things afterwards about how no one ever gets brought up on these charges. No one ever blah blah blah. Blah. Well, even that is not something that we consider.
Right.
It's the law. And
Right.
as a jury, we are supposed to consider
Right.
the facts of the case, the evidence that's brought forth, and at
Did
the
he break the law?
very end, did he break the law? It does not matter what the. Now I believe there is whatever jury nullification is, where if you truly believe that the person does not deserve any punishment or whatever for a crime that they definitely committed.
could-
But I'm not sure. I've just heard that thrown
Yeah,
around.
I don't know it either,
See,
but
I've been thinking the same thing, though, that he just mentioned this whole time. How many people out there have committed this crime?
right.
I mean, hundreds of thousands. So why?
He was a target, I'm
Well,
sure.
that's what I'm saying. You know, even if somebody's on the opposite side of maybe what we believe sometimes, but we want them to be treated the same way.
Yeah.
And I think something like this, it's like I actually just did the gun form, so I'm pretty familiar with it. And the thing is, what it also does say, if I remember correctly, if you decide to become an alcoholic or a drug
You have
addict,
to,
you
yeah.
need to turn your ID in and turn
Wow,
your weapon
yeah,
in. So
surrender.
how many people you could plan that out?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you might have a gun stored away for 20 years in a closet.
Sounds like you're making excuses over there, buddy.
Well, yeah, I've got
What are you
everything
hiding?
lined up.
What did you check on that question?
So
Real
I
fast.
played it safe. I just said drug use daily. That way I couldn't get in any trouble, and they still gave me the license. I don't know
Listen,
what's wrong
it's
with these
crazy.
people.
Just to button it up for you, that was amazing. We've
Yeah.
been going now 44 minutes. Did it feel like it?
Oh, wow.
No.
It doesn't ever.
No.
That was amazing. We might have to have him back.
I think so.
Because that seems
Hey,
like there's
you
still
know,
a lot
I'll
to
pay the
uncover.
$6 to drive up here.
Yes, we need
No,
it.
you know what? We got the $6.
Yeah, we cover it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just
Giving
like we
away
gave them their
500, you
mugs.
can afford
Yeah.
6.
Well, we'll talk about that. But anyway, so yeah, that was amazing. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed that conversation. That was very interesting.
What an inside look to see and hear. And really, we need to pray for him because obviously, no matter how corrupt your father is, the drugs are the issue.
Right.
And that can happen to all of us. We have family members that rob their own family because
Pastors.
of drugs.
Past 2 years.
No, I need to. But anyway.
You're not on that booger sugar,
Is it
Pastor?
that stressful?
Oh, it can be someday. Ask your dad.
He does that. He uses that booger sugar.
I just told the church today, you can't. So last week we canceled. I was sick, real bad. We also had snow coming in.
Sick with the
Somebody
sniffles?
said because I canceled, he's always canceling church. That same
game.
people that said I always canceled
It's an Eagles
church
game.
were
It's
mad
an
I didn't
Eagles
cancel today. So you just don't win. And they were like, oh, I bet he's embarrassed he canceled because they told my wife, is your husband embarrassed because he canceled due to the snow and it wound up not coming until like 4 or 5 o'clock? And she's like, no, that's not the only reason he canceled. That was a help. He canceled because he was in bed sick that Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I don't like to go and tell the church that because they love me and they pamper me, but I didn't want to talk because I started to cough and hack. And anyway, but the same people that were upset that I canceled and said I cancel didn't come today because they thought I should cancel.
If it makes you feel better, my church, we canceled our midweek service.
Yes.
So.
We did in-house. So in other words, not in-house, online this Wednesday. So people didn't have to come out in 5-degree weather. COVID's going around. Not that the flu. I believe COVID is just pneumonia.
Fellas.
You're one of those.
I think we should send Fauci to Russia for sure.
Fellas.
As a nurse, what do you?
Yeah, Hannah. What is it, Hannah? Did you have to get the?
Wait, are you drunk right now?
She
Vanilla.
took the needle. And my cheeks have been rosy ever since.
That's just rosacea.
When I was in school.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, I could either get the shot or
Yeah.
school.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
All right.
we're under a new administration, thank God, and they're not pushing those things on us. But God does protect us. But being pardoned is a big deal because we were pardoned by Jesus Christ and the blood that he shed, and we don't deserve it. So when I heard he was pardoned, I wasn't shocked. I was more shocked they pardoned the January 6th committee. Like, what did they do wrong? They were just investigating, right?
Are you trying to draw like a that would be a great illustration,
Yeah.
Hunter
Oh, he's
Biden-
been stewing on
Hunter
that all
Biden's
day.
father,
Yeah.
our heavenly Father.
Our Heavenly Father.
That's,
He's
you
calling
can-
Joe Biden God.
You could see
the supreme, ruler of the land.
the judge judges us. That's the law. We're guilty. We have to die.
We don't deserve
Jesus steps in, the Father, and pardons us. It's amazing. And we don't deserve it. We're no better than him. We're addicted to ourselves. So,
Amen.
But
Listen.
anyway, pod pastor always has to throw something.
Now let's get to something important here.
Thanks, Dave.
The Eagles play today.
Eagles game. What's our predictions?
Yes.
Let's start with Mark. The game will probably be over the time you hear these, but that's fine.
Yes.
So
let's see if we were right.
all right, Mark, give us your score prediction. Just pick a score. Eagles
He's wearing
win or
Commanders colors.
Redskins?
He's wearing Commanders colors.
He's
today.
wearing Commanders color. You believe this guy?
Was
The
not
color of the
intentional.
team is yellow and burgundy.
It wasn't intentional.
His wife made him dress that way
First off, the-
today.
To set the record straight, the Commanders don't exist. There's no such thing.
Thank you.
That's just ridiculous. If the Eagles lose to them, just total embarrassment.
Yes.
But
I agree.
prediction would be like, I don't know, 31-20.
That's a good score.
good score.
Pick a score, Dan, even though you don't follow football.
I really don't follow football.
Which
I
is-
did watch last week's game. It was
Yeah.
so good.
It was,
So,
with the
so good.
snow and everything. It was
Crazy
messy.
picks,
You're gonna watch this week's game.
No.
And really, right now, I mean, you saw the stadium. You're right there near the
Let
stadium
me
here.
be a little more honest. I watched the highlights of the game.
There
and
you
I
go.
watched
Highlights
it
of this week's game.
at double speed on YouTube.
Double
so
speed.
I watch everything
right.
at least.
He's like, Saquon's fast.
Score
People wish
prediction.
I preached like that. Score for me. I think it's going to be a massive blowout. It's going to be like 40-12 or 14. Eagles
Score
win.
prediction.
17-10.
Wow, who?
One more time.
Eagles.
Eagles,
17-10.
That's
Eagles.
a boring game.
All right, listen.
It's gonna be a defensive game.
I was just about to get there. I think that our defenses, well, we're not an explosive offensive team. They are, but our defense is really good. So I'm saying 24-17.
It's a good score.
2 touchdowns.
Can we get
3
it? Can we get a
touchdowns,
little
2
Eagle
field
spell like our
goals.
mayor?
ELGLELS.
I
Eagles.
think that's closer actually. Than
She was a lot closer. I think, she has a lot on her mind. She's out there. I don't think she's.
Hey, wait. We got one more.
We discussed before. It's,
Yeah. I don't think it's on
Chiefs
her.
Bills
talking
are
all the
also
time.
tonight.
You're talking all the time then.
Chiefs and Bills?
It's another big game. That's if we win, that's who we play in the Super
Yeah,
Bowl.
so who do you wanna
would
win?
you rather see in the Super Bowl, the Chiefs or the Bills?
Well, the Chiefs, because I already own some of their garden flags and stuff to sell
There you
There
go.
Chiefs
from last year.
businessman.
As long as Taylor Swift is there,
Chiefs,
Bills.
Bills.
I'm tired of the Chiefs. I'm tired of my homie getting all hot and bothered, falling down, trying to draw the flags.
rather?
I want
All right,
the Bills.
here we go. Moving on.
If Jackson Mahomes is at the game, I'm going with the Chiefs.
All right.
That's his boyfriend.
Listen,
Same
you guys are
hairdo.
thinking about this. You guys are thinking about this in terms of like who you want to see in the Super Bowl. But think about it. It's whoever you want the Eagles to play. Who do you think they have a better chance to beat? I think they have a better chance to beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And it would be our lick back.
I think
'cause
you're
they
wrong.
beat us in the Super Bowl two years ago.
I think the Bills are hard. I think everybody wants the Bills because we're just tired of seeing. Nobody likes a winner.
Even if the Bills beat the Chiefs,
Does that sound?
we
everyone
need to
likes
beat the
the
Bills.
Everybody. That's what I should say.
Yeah.
We do like winners.
We still got to beat them.
The other people are hoping the Bills.
I'd
And I
rather
think
beat the Chiefs.
And I think you're wrong. I think the Chiefs' defense is very good, and I think our Jalen Hurts would be hurting against that.
But
that
the Bills are
defense.
explosive on offense. I don't think we can
Not
keep up.
really. Their quarterback's amazing. I think he's the best quarterback
and the
in
Bills
football.
have Von Miller.
One of the best edge rushers.
He's old.
See, the chances of your team winning the Super Bowl are so low. You know, there's so many teams and everything.
Yeah.
So if you don't watch football, you're never disappointed.
That's
you know?
smart. What do you follow, Dan?
No, I'm
We
not-
said Legos.
I'm more of a
You're a
basketball guy.
hobbyist.
Yeah, not really.
No.
But like kind
Okay.
of, like,
I'm a hobbyist. So fish tanking
He
is a
watches-
hobby of mine.
He watches Hunter Biden
Trains.
laptops.
I do big
Spend
trains.
time with my wife. That's all. I
Oh.
You guys go out drinking together?
Making vanilla.
I know.
Yeah, vanilla. We want to know
Cocaine.
how do you make vanilla going to the alcohol store? Someone educate me.
So it's just like any type of alcohol. So I mean, well, mostly like vodka or rum.
Oh, I'm liking this. Here we go.
Yeah.
And then just vanilla beans.
Really?
It takes like
Wow.
forever though.
Really? Because it's got to marinate together.
Why don't you just go to Dunkin' and get vanilla bean colada?
Months, I decided to go with the full 12 months.
Wow.
Guys,
Good.
It's a lot of commitment.
Yeah.
She's more committed than I can't say that.
everybody,
You better stop sipping it. Let it marinate.
everybody, great podcast.
It was fun.
It was a lot of fun.
What do we say?
Thank you, Dan. Everybody clap it up.
Now that he's pardoned, I'm sure it's a little easier to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Before that,
actually,
it's like,
you
oh
know,
no.
We're going to send it to the podcaster for the last word. Go ahead, podcaster.
Just want to thank you all.
All right,
for
we love
watching.
you.